Well, you might laugh. I got the flyer in the letterbox, and I thought, you know what, let's go and have a look. And then, lo and behold, this picture comes up of my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law who had just bought 5 properties from John. And John talks about them, Jim Walsh Buckley. Anyhow, I've gone, hello, I need to have a look at this. I did my homework, I actually checked all the stats, worked out what I was doing and whatever. And I got to that point where it's like, this all makes sense. And I went and met John. And we did a tour of the properties, those sorts of things that you do. And it was then a leap of faith. Yeah, John convinced me that it was time to do it. He actually got in my head, John laughs about this. He said to me, you're going to go home, you're comfortable, and you're not going to do anything. And I thought, I'll show you. So I bought 2 properties straight up the front. I had to have the data. I had to have the detail. But once I had it, that was out of the way. It was like, okay, is this good? I think it's good. Let's talk to John and to the team and everything else. But it still came down to that point, leap of faith. And I'm glad I did it. I only bought 2. They wanted me to sell me 3. And I should have bought the 3. But anyway, 2 was good. Good start. I looked and I went, you know what? How do I undo those shackles that I have of working every day for you know, the man, so to speak? Best thing I ever did. What John talks about in 7 steps, and I swear by 7 steps, by the way, anyone that comes to me and says, Jeff, you know property, what can you do? What should I do? I say, read this book. Read this book. The model in the book says that every 10 years property double, and they do, by the way. Mine have done that. When I look at the ones that I've had for the original first 2, they're worth 4 times what I paid for them. So the model works every 10 years. So you've got to let time work for you. Now, all cycles are different states cycle at different times. And John teaches you about all this. That's how I learned all this, by the way. But it can be as quick as you can gain enough equity to duplicate again within a couple of years, or it can take a bit longer. When I started, I said to John, I want 3 things. And he said, yeah, what are they? I said, 1, I want to create wealth. Cool. 2, I want to actually meet and talk to like-minded people so I can learn from them. And 3, I want to have fun. Now, I've got to tick all 3 boxes because that's what's happened. Get the latest information. Like I'm always on every webinar that John has, unless I'm away overseas or something. But and the reason for it is quite simple. I'm running a business. With the amount of properties I've got, that's a business. So I need information, and I need it from people I trust, not the news who tell you this and that today, and tomorrow they change their mind and everything else. I need it from someone I trust, and I trust what John says. I would say that everything he says it happens. Sometimes it takes a little longer, a little shorter, but it happens. So that's why I trust him. Stay focused. No matter what it is you're doing, stay focused and listen to your mentors. I mentioned before, you've got to build a team. My team is a mixture of my custodian, sort of counsellor, my bank, my accountant, and my agent. You don't have to do everything at once, okay? I think the important thing is to talk to your custodian consultant. They know this stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. I can tell you my experiences, but I learned that from custodians, so they can tell you about all that. It has given me a chance to say I can undo the financial shackles if I wanted to. So there's both sides of that. And why am I doing it? Yeah, I don't need to do it anymore, but now I'm doing it for my children and for my grandchildren, so as that they have a great start in life. My brother-in-law used to give me a quote: when the student is ready, the master will arrive. So I think that for me, the 3 things would be talk to your consultant about what it is, talk to like-minded people like the custodians, like I said before, that have done this. So learn from your mentors. You need a mentor in everything you do. My mentor, by the way, in property is John. John knows that, and that's why I go to the seminars, because it gives me that advice once a month. And then thirdly, you're going to have pitfalls you fall into. Stay positive. You'll work it through. You'll get there. I have, and I know everyone else can.